And good evening, iRacers. Welcome to episode 16 of How Is That Guy a WCS Driver? This week we're at the insanity that is Mount Panorama Bathurst in the Radical SR8. You're going to see in a minute when we get started at the mountain section. It's just crazy, man. This is my third race actually of the week. Last two have gone pretty good. Won the first one, came second in the previous one, and we've managed to get by with no incidents so far. We've got four particularly quick drivers, kind of including myself, who likes three particularly quick drivers at the front to race with. Matthias there on pole position is going to scamper away. We finished 6 seconds behind him in the last race, so if we be somewhere around there, that'd be good. And then Adomus, I don't know, but he's got a similar lap time to me. And then Gregor Thompson, we know from the previous race, should be pretty close. Let's see how we get going.
Green.
Going to struggle a little bit into turn one. I thought we were going to have Adomus coming up the inside there, but managed to ease off a little bit before we got into the braking zone. Right, so it'll be a matter of trying to stay in Matthias's slipstream for as many laps as we can manage, but just trying to not go crazy, just trying to make sure we don't hit the walls at any time. That's the key thing really. If we can get a clean race again, and we should be on the podium really. Turned in a little bit later than we wanted, and so we had to have a big old lift off first time round. Okay, so I think theme of the commentary this week, I think, is let's not do any talking through the mountain. Let's just wait for these nice, easy straights. Pretty cautious that first lap, so we've dropped a fair chunk of Matthias, but we're just about hanging on to his slipstream. We come to the end of a long straight now, all the way down into second gear. And Adomus there was much quicker into the entry through the corner than I was there. I wasn't that slow turning in, I don't think. And so yeah, all four of us have got away pretty cleanly. Gregor is just there in fourth position, still right behind Adomus.
We're good, doing good. Don't get caught in his trap.
So already we can see, as I said, Matthias is going to be scampering away, nearly 2 seconds down the road already. And now here comes the quiet bit for the lap again, I think. Okay, we got away with that, messed up the approach there completely. Okay, good. So yeah, most of the mountain there was pretty good, but yeah, as we come down through that first section, as it starts to go downhill, just didn't get the entry right at all. It wasn't so much that I braked too late, I just didn't quite get the line right, so I couldn't brake as hard as I needed to, as early as I could, or as I wanted. So just about managed to avoid putting it in the wall. Okay, good. Got a decent run onto the first straight of the lap. Adonis is 0.4 behind, so he might close slightly in the slipstream here, but we should be okay this time round. Let's try and get a clean run this time. Just missed that apex slightly again. Alright, so let's get the line right coming in this time. Okay, so it turned out alright. Brakes quite early, quite cautious going in, trying to make sure of it that time by. And we got a pretty good drive onto the longest straight on track that time. I think Adonis had a touch of oversteering as he came off the corner, so he just gained a tenth or two. And already Matthias is nearly 3.5 seconds down the road. A little bit slower on the entry to the corner there we wanted, so Adonis has gained those couple of tenths back again. See if he closes on the slipstream. He didn't really make much progress last lap. A tiny bit, but not enough. Again, just missing that apex again that lap. A few times now we've managed that. That was okay that time by. Still not quite as I was aiming for, but good enough. And again, that last corner there is going to be the key one each lap, really. Make sure we get a good drive out of that corner. So, again, we've gained a little bit of time back on Adonis to make sure we're not under pressure down over main overtaking opportunity for the lap. Right, so let's make sure again we get a good run through turn one. It's okay, we've got a good drive off the corner, but again too cautious really on the entry, didn't carry the apex speed that we could have. But we've still got, again, enough gap to Adonis behind. Grego's still just behind him, still waiting patiently. That was better that time, got our apex a bit more. Bit early turning in for that last fast left-hander. Okay, so I think Adonis had a little tap of a wall perhaps just coming down the mountain that time. So we've gained nearly half a second on him. So we'll see whether Gregor's able to put him under a bit more pressure. Doesn't look like it quite yet. Okay, so a little bit more positive going into turn 1 at time. So already we're on lap 6. It's just a 13 lap race with these laps being so long, 2-minute laps. So pretty much halfway already. So all of that time that Adonis lost in that previous lap, he's gained straight back on me again, back to half a second. Gregor had a little bit of a struggle, I think, towards the beginning of it. He's dropped back 1.5 behind me now, 1 second behind Adonis. Adonis is going to be as close as he's been so far. Again, that's that key corner to make sure we get a good run out of each time. So again, we pretty much nailed turn 1 that time. Got enough of a buffer again to keep us safe. And Adonis was much later braking than I was that time, so he missed his apex a little bit. How much of that was having to get out of the way of me and how much was just out braking himself anyway, I'm not really sure. Okay, so from that little error and the turn 2 for Adonis, we've really gained a good chunk of time now, 1.7 seconds back. We've got our first back marker that we're catching up with now, so we're going to need to hopefully get by them on the front straight. Timing hopefully is going to work out okay, it looks like. Or not. It's got lots of damage, so need to be very careful here, Lee. Careful.
One on the right side.
I'd decided I was going to go inside, but fortunately we had enough space by the time he made the same move. So that did cost us that time that we had on Adonis again. He's back to a second now. Okay, good. So yeah, we got by the back marker without too much worry at least. Cost us a little tiny bit of time, but could have been much, much worse. Matthias is already at the 6-second gap, so he's pulled away a bit more than last race that we did with him. So, second half to that little run through the mountain that time was a little bit scruffy. So, Adonis has gained a bit more time in this again, back to 0.7 behind now, whereas Gregor is 2.5 seconds back still, so just not able to quite close back up yet. Average turn one that time, but should be looking okay. Dominus hasn't really gained on us. I just need to keep trying to stay quiet and make sure I don't put it in the wall now in these last couple of laps. was a better run through that little sequence that time. Oof, just about got away with my braking into there. Blocked up the rears a little bit when I didn't quite have the steering as straight as I wanted. But we didn't really lose any time at all, fortunately. Just got 5 minutes remaining of a 25-minute race.
Good job, buddy. Training smooth. A few more.
Just a touch of oversteer on that final corner there, just being a bit too aggressive getting on the power. And just about an okay turn one. Thought I was going to overcook it a bit, but we didn't see Apex by too much. Just turned in a little bit early there. Had to be very, very cautious that time.
Keep your eyes open. He's moving, he's moving.
Ooh, that was Matthias, that was the leader there. Right, be very, very careful, careful. Don't do anything silly behind Adonis.
One on the right side.
Excellent.
Quarter clear.
Oof, right, we were very lucky to get through that. Matthias wasn't so lucky, he got taken out well and truly. Right, so now 3 of us are, well, certainly Gregor's a lot closer to Adonis, but I've gotten away with just having 8 tenths or so at the minute. 2 laps now, we're up into P1. Right, whew, I got my heart going a little bit. We got 1 more back marker coming up, 3 seconds down the road.
Knows you're on the way.
Ooh, much too much inside curve there. Ooh, alright, that was rubbish. Right, let's concentrate. We're all 3 of us right back together now. Right, so we've got to make sure we get a good exit out of turn 1 now.
Baby. New leader.
And that was pretty good, so we'll take that. And I think John is very kindly going to let all 3 of us go. Thank you, John. Helped me out a bit as well, getting a bit of slipstream to make sure I wasn't going to be under any pressure from Adonis there. Right, 2 laps. We get a pretty good run out of that final corner again to try and make sure we're not going to be under too much pressure. Right, last couple of corners of this lap and then 1 more time through the mountain. Adonis is closing again now. Good little run through that chicane that time, gave us a bit of breathing space. A little bit early on the power again, but we've got Adonis struggled a touch as well. Again, a good turn one to set us up down the front straight again. Right, Lee, we need to make sure we just have a sensible run through. Can't really overtake on the mountain, and then it's all about that final corner onto the straight. Okay, so we're going to be struggling a little bit, I think. Adonis is as close as he's been all race. 2/10, final lap. So we're going to have to stay to the left and try and defend into the chicane.
On your right.
Oh, a little bit of car contact. Hopefully we didn't get any damage.
Still there, quarter. Clear.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Alright, so we survive for now. Final corner. Careful, careful, careful. Start finish line is straight away. Oh, that was a little bit nerve-wracking at the end there. But very unlucky to Matthias, of course. Or Matthias, sorry. He obviously should have been clear race winner, but what fun that was between the three of us. Oh, I thought I fucked it up. I thought Thomas had me at the end there. Dearie me.
Have your attention, please. Come to victory lane.
And just let the adrenaline train out for a minute. I was just saying I thought I'd fucked it on that last lap there, being a bit too cautious through the mountain, but fortunately, yeah, I managed to hang on at the end there. Whew, that was exciting. Glad I recorded this race. Oh dear, what a crazy place Bathurst is in this, in any car, but a high, yeah, a high downforce, low weight, high power car. Wow, that's crazy. Right. What should we have a quick look at? There's probably a couple of bits to look at, I expect, isn't there? I'll be curious to see what took Matthias out in those last laps. I presume it was, yeah, confusing moment when lapping another car, that's what I guessed. So we'll have a quick look at that out of curiosity. Let's look at that first. We can go in sort of time order. So it's going to be this lap, I think, because the one after that, Gregor looked much closer. Yes, here we go. Alright, so let's find Matthias. Forward one. There you go, there's Matthias. Right, rewind. So, yeah, severely damaged back marker in front. Let's look from Matthias. Sorry, well, maybe it is Matthias, but I'm sure it's Matthias. That roll bar gives us a crap view. So let's look instead. Let's just have his cockpit view, shall we? There we go. Right. So Matthias catching very, very quickly on this back marker. Which side am I going to go? Ooh. Ugh. Yeah, pretty tough. I mean, there's such a speed difference between the two of them there, and he couldn't really turn any tighter in because of the speed. Yeah, very unlucky to Matthias there. Yeah, I was extremely relieved then. Let's have a look at us. Catching that same back marker. I was thinking either I was going in the back of him or Adonis behind me was going in the back. So ever so cautious. Oh, the brakes down, panic! Ah! And I'm glad Adonis behind had his wits about him a little bit and was able to slow sufficiently as well. But that had me extremely worried there. And then should we look at the that defence at Vienna. Let's look at a different camera. That one is cycling the car, not the camera. There we go. God, I'm knackered after that. Right, here we go. So yeah, side by side for that quick little kink. Just about managed to take my line, and Adonis is pretty fair, hung back a little bit on the entry there, trying to get a better drive out the corner, but fortunately for me, didn't quite work. You can see Gregor's got a fair bit of damage there, back in third. So yeah, what's that? Half a second between the three of us as we cross the line after 13 laps at Bathurst. That's not bad, is it? Right, let's quickly try and refresh me. Was there anything else to look at? I don't think there really was there? We didn't have any other overtakes particularly. Did we hold on to that second from the very start? Yeah, we didn't we? So yeah, relieved that we didn't get that spot nicked from us just at the very end there, and very relieved also that we didn't get tangled with a back marker like Matthias very unluckily did as well. Bathurst in the Radical. Right. So let's have a quick look at points things out of curiosity. It was the race didn't split or anything, so it shouldn't be amazing. Points, but let's have a look. Yeah, not particularly good. 126. So it's still the strongest we've had for myself this week. We've had something like a 115, 118, and now 126, something like that. So all good. But yeah, not sort of massive points or anything. But yeah, we did pretty well. Taking advantage for Matthias getting tangled up. Good, right. So yes, that was Bathurst in a Radical. I mean, last week when I did my video, I was saying I wasn't sure if I was going to run here, but fortunately after first couple of days practicing here this week, I got into a bit of a rhythm, and yeah, and it's a bit scary for that mountain, you know, every lap. But I felt like I got into a good rhythm during the week, and I'm able just to yeah, have a good shout. That's 3 races in a row here that I've had no incidents, so I wouldn't have expected that, thinking back to last week and what it was going to be like running here at Bathurst. So I'm going to try and do 1 more, or maybe even 2 more tomorrow. It doesn't really matter about my 4 races for the week, since so far all my races have been so close on points, so I guess we'll see what my final race, my 4th race points tally is. But then when you next see me, we will be at Road Atlanta Shorts, which sounds pretty fun for the Radicals. See how that goes, and yeah, that'll do then. Radicals at Bathurst. Absolutely knackering. Alright, cheers guys, what a good race.